Some materials seem like a miracle, almost too good to be true. And for a long time, that's exactly what asbestos was. It was woven right into our world to keep us safe. But, like a lot of things that seem perfect, it was hiding a really monstrous secret. So today, we're diving into the story of asbestos.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The core paradox. How it is something that was celebrated as this fireproof miracle turned into a fatal mistake. It's a wild story of incredible promise that ultimately led to just catastrophic consequences, many of them hidden for decades.
Okay, so to really get the tragedy here, we've got to start with the magic. Because before anyone knew it was a threat, asbestos was seen as this gift from the earth, a true miracle mineral. Its properties were so amazing they seemed almost supernatural.
So, what even is this stuff? Well, to put it simply, asbestos is a mineral. You can literally just pull it out of the ground. And it's not just one thing either. It's a whole group of minerals that all share this one really unique quality. They're made up of these long, thin, incredibly durable fibers. And those fibers, that's where all its power came from.
Just think about how perfect this must have seemed at the time. It could withstand temperatures over 800 degrees Celsius. We're talking furnace-like heat, and it wouldn't burn. It was a fantastic insulator for both heat and sound. Plus, it was super strong, durable, and you could weave it like cloth or mix it right into cement. If you were an engineer back then, this was like the ultimate problem solver.
So yeah, with properties like that, it's absolutely no surprise that asbestos didn't stay in the ground for very long. It quickly became this essential ingredient in, building the modern world. It was a genuine superstar of the Industrial Revolution.
And using it wasn't a totally new idea. Even the ancient Romans were playing with it for stuff like fireproof lamp wicks. But the real game changer was the 19th century. That's when industrial-scale mining kicked off. And by the mid-1900s, asbestos was at its absolute peak. It was in everything from battleships to the local schoolhouse. It actually wasn't until the 1980s that the world finally started to wake up to the horrifying truth.
And you can see why it was so hard for people to let go of it, right? For decades, asbestos wasn't seen as a problem at all. It was the solution. It made buildings safer from fire. It made ships more resilient. It made construction cheaper. On paper, it was delivering on every single one of its promises.
And it was everywhere. Seriously, the insulation in your attic, the tiles on your floor, the brake pads in your car, the fireproofing in the school down the street, you name it. An entire generation of people grew up in a world that was quite literally built with asbestos.
But that whole world, it was built on a terrible, hidden secret. See, the very thing that made asbestos so magical, those tiny, strong fibers, was also the exact thing that made it so deadly. The miracle was about to be unmasked as a monster.
Here's the problem. When asbestos is disturbed, broken or cut, it releases these microscopic, needle-like fibers into the air. If you braid those in, their amazing durability suddenly becomes their most dangerous quality. They never break down. They get lodged deep inside your lung tissue forever. And over decades, they just sit there, causing these devastating, irreversible diseases.
And this is the tragic trade-off right here. The promise of fire resistance, that came at the cost of mesothelioma, this really rare and aggressive cancer. Its famous durability, that led to lung cancer. And its amazing insulating properties, they were directly linked to asbestosis, a brutal chronic disease that just scars your lungs until they can't even function anymore.
You want to know the most chilling part? The big finding from all the health experts? There is no safe level of exposure. None. Not a single fiber is considered risk-free.
And what makes this whole thing even worse is that it wasn't just some tragic accident. Some of the companies involved, they knew. They knew about the health risks as far back as the 1930s, and they just covered it up for decades. The danger was hidden too because these diseases have this massive latency period. We're talking 20, 30, even 50 years to develop. So generations of people were exposed before anyone really understood the true scale of the disaster.
So, okay. Even though its use has been banned in a ton of places, this story is far from over. Not even close. We are all still living with the toxic legacy of asbestos, and the consequences are still unfolding today.
Today, the global consensus is pretty clear. More than 60 countries have completely banned asbestos. They all recognize just how unacceptable the danger is.
But here's the thing.
banning new uses doesn't magically make all the old stuff disappear, right? There are millions of older buildings all over the world, homes, offices, schools that still have asbestos inside them. And getting it out? Oh, it's a super complex, incredibly expensive, and really dangerous process. It has to be handled with extreme, extreme care.
And this is the human cost that just keeps going. Even today, thousands of people die every single year from diseases that were caused by exposure that happened decades ago. The bill for our past mistakes is still being paid in human lives.
So where does all this leave us? Well, it's time for the final verdict. We've got to weigh that incredible utility against the absolutely catastrophic harm.
And this breakdown really reveals the conflict perfectly, doesn't it? I mean, look at the mechanical properties, an 8.5 out of 10. It was brilliant. Its historical and technological impact was huge, a solid 7.5. But then you look at the modern scores. Lasting relevance today? A 3. Its incredible danger just makes it obsolete, and the staggering cost of dealing with the old stuff makes any idea of using it now a complete non-starter.
So all of that averages out to a final score of 6.3 out of 10. And you know, that number kind of tells the whole story. It acknowledges that, yeah, it had some genuine historical benefits, but it's just dragged way, way down by fatal flaws that completely, utterly overshadow anything good about it.
And that score places it firmly in the low C tier. You know, we can't really give it an F, because for a time, its properties were genuinely world-changing. But it could never, ever reach the top tiers. Why? Because the human cost was, and frankly still is, just unforgivable. So that's its legacy, really. A once celebrated miracle material that ended up becoming a global health disaster. It was a solution that, over time, revealed itself to be a far, far greater problem. Ultimately, the story of asbestos is the ultimate cautionary tale. It's a painful lesson, for sure, but a vital one. It's a lesson in corporate responsibility, in the importance of understanding long-term health impacts, and, maybe most of all, a lesson in questioning whether every so-called technological miracle is truly worth its hidden price. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? As we keep innovating and discovering amazing new materials today, what might be the asbestos of our generation? What hidden dangers could we be overlooking right now, all in the name of progress? It's a pretty crucial question to keep in mind.